Welcome to the Founders Deep Dive, where we're diving deep into the lives of different founders, especially geared towards homes, rescue centers, of course, in regards to GBV. And this is courtesy of Sauti Kenya Leadership and Advocacy Program, which is a beautiful partnership between Ushindi Empowerment Group and Canada Fund for Local Initiatives. And I am with Hilda Boke, and I'm just going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us a bit more about HopeCo.
Thank you. My name is Hilda, as you've heard from HopeCo. HopeCo Kenya is part of HopeCo, which operates in East Africa. So, and HopeCo runs a children's home, a health center, schools, primary and secondary schools. It also runs a family empowerment program. We also have a shelter in Kenya and a women empowerment program in Migori County. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the shelter is in Migori?
No, the shelter is in Kajiado.
Oh, Kajiado.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you mind expounding on the different institutions under HopeCo and what they do?
Okay. The larger HopeCo, where the big project is actually in Tanzania.
Okay.
So there we have a medical center, we have a primary school, mm-hmm. a secondary school, and an orphanage. Yes.
Okay.
And then in Kenya, we have, in Migori County, we have a women empowerment program. We call it Sewing Empower Women, mm-hmm. where we teach women we give women an opportunity to acquire a skill, and which is sewing. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they step out and start their small enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And how long has it been in Kenya for?
The Sew program has been in Kenya for 4 years. Mm-hmm. The same to the shelter, 4 years, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the founder? The director, sorry.
Yeah,
you're the director.
Yes.
Okay.
Director
and
program.
what's that like for you? So what does your work entail per se?
Yes, my work entails coordinating the women's program and the girls' program at the Safe House. Mm. Yes.
So tell us now a bit more about the Safe House.
Mm-hmm. About the Safe House. In the Safe House, we offer safe shelter, counseling, and just a good environment for the women to heal after going through trauma. Mm. We take in girls who have gone through sexual violence, abuse, from between age 4 to 14. Mm. Yes. We give them an opportunity to go to school while we are with them, because looking at their age, so they go to school while we help them walk through the course of justice.
Mm-hmm. Between 4 to 14?
Yes, 4 to 14.
You've had 4-year-olds?
Yes, we've had actually a 3-year-old. They were siblings, 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So as they go through the process, we keep on evaluating, and as the process of justice also takes place, once the perpetrator are sentenced and behind bars, we also check the family setting, if it is safe. We assess if the family environment is safe, then we reintegrate. Mm-hmm.
So could you give us maybe one case now for us to better understand how a survivor is handled from the start to the end?
Most of our cases are referral.
Okay.
So once we get a call, whether from a social worker, a nurse, a police, there's this case. So we step in, we start the process of getting the right documentation, and then we talk to the right people, the children's office, and then we bring the girl to our center. Mm-hmm. Once they come, we are keen on their medical. We look at what is their immediate need, whether medical or, because justice will always continue. Actually, we are keen on justice. We don't want cases which is unfortunately a common scenario, where you find a girl has been abused and the family has done, arrangements. We've settled it at home. They've been paid, the parents have been settled, some form of payment has exchanged hands. So there's no justice being followed up, and then the girl is neglected there. The assumption that if parents have agreed, or if the perpetrator and the parents have agreed, the girl is fine. So we are keen on pushing for justice. It's part of the healing for the girl.
Okay, let's just talk a bit more about justice. So we've had a few conversations with other directors and founders, and it's been a half and half. Of others have had a good relationship with the government and the whole system, and others have not had the best relationship with them.
Yes.
In terms of follow-up, even the handling of the survivors. So how has it been like for you?
I would say it's been 50. It's actually a chance. It's a matter of luck. Sometimes you have a very good personnel at the police, the gender desk, and you also have a very good magistrate. So, and there's nothing you can do. These people are posted to those places randomly. So it's purely a matter of chance. But so far, I think we have landed on very good personnel. Yes.
And you've been able to get justice for multiple
yes.
girls. Okay, that's very lovely. And how are you able to fund, of course, taking the girls to school? Of course, the whole justice process also costs money. So how are you able to fund that?
As I said, we are part of a bigger HopeCo community.
Yes.
And this is just one of the programs. Yeah, so HopeCo has been funding HopeCo Kenya.
Okay, so it's trickling down.
Trickling down, yes.
Yes, okay, that's very
But we can do with more funds. Would love to get more girls. There are many still waiting, And unfortunately, especially where the family is involved, like a current case we are processing. Once, especially if the offender is, say, like a parent, and you step in, they quickly, they've been paying school fees, but when they hear that the girl has spoken, they keep off. So now that brings in another person although they have been taking care of their school fees, now they withdraw. Yeah, quite intimidating to the girl. Yeah, so those are some of the scenarios, especially when they happen in between the years, or in between the year, or somewhere along the end of the year. It can be a bit destabilizing for planning purposes.
And how many, do you have maybe a number of the girls who have been able to go through the shelter?
We have, so far we've had 15 girls going through our shelter. 15 girls have gone through our shelter. 6 have been 9 have been reintegrated. 6 are still under our care.
Okay. And what is it like being with them? Because I know it takes, of course, there's counseling and there's a lot of mental health conversations that you have to have with them. So what's that like for you and for your team? We had to deliberately capacity build ourselves, get to understand the sensitivity of our girls, that this is not just any other girl you see walking on the street or you find at home, and carry that mentality all the time when you're dealing with them, that this is a wounded person, that we are dealing with a wounded soul. You have to be very careful what you speak, what you say. You have to constantly weigh your words, speak hope, provide an environment that is healing. Yes. And what inspired you to work in this very unique field?
What inspired me? Working in Migori County and in a community that do not really value like the girls and things. So cases of abuse were so many, and you would hear how it was easy for parents to settle the matter. And I know actually one of the saddest case was a 13-year-old girl. By the time we got to know, she had been, actually by the time she spoke up, her story got got to be known. She was going to admit to hospital. That's when they realized that she had been infected. And then now she narrated her story that this abuse had started when she was 9. And the abuser was a well-known neighbor who still had the audacity to say, I can marry her. I'm ready to pay dowry. She was only 13.
That was his solution to the...
Yes. Wow. And was ready to pay the father. And those stories were many. Fathers who have been settled, the girl is disillusioned, hurting, wounded. Nobody cared about the girl because the father, once he has been compensated, they keep quiet. So I felt the plight of the girls. They're expected to continue with school as usual. One, it is in the same environment. It's never kept a secret as, as we expect. Somehow it leaks. So in the same environment, they're made fun of, The girl is completely tortured. Expecting them to proceed with life as if nothing happened was a tall order. Yeah.
So you saw that gap and...
Yeah, I saw that gap and I said we could help.
Okay. And how long have you been the director at HopeCo?
I've been a director for 4 years.
4 years. Wow, that's a long time. Thank you. So I'm pretty sure you've seen, a lot of stories and a lot of cases.
Yes.
And you mentioned there are 9 who have gone through the shelter and have been reintegrated. Is there any story that has stood out for you?
Yeah. There were 2 particular stories where the sentencing was done.
Okay.
That was just brilliant. I mean, one, it took a record 6 months. Second, they got 25 years. I know it may not be like really compensation for the girl, but I think it did something for the girl to know. You were constantly telling them that what happened to you was wrong. The person offended you. So when they see justice affirming it was a big boost for her. That truly I was offended. I don't need to be guilty. I don't need to feel there's something wrong I did. I was offended and somehow somebody has served me. Justice has been served.
So you said 2 of the girls have been able to receive
yes
the justice. That must be very big for them.
Yes.
Can imagine the what's the word to use? The ease that your heart goes through. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're in 16 days of activism.
Yes.
And there are very many cases of gender-based violence currently going on. So what would you say are maybe some of the things to watch out for as women if you're in said situation, or what next steps should someone take if they're in that situation?
I think one of the things women need to be is to be super suspicious. Days of being comfortable, I think, are all long gone.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing the abuse coming from the least likely places, where as our president was saying, where women thought they were safe. So you just must always be suspicious. Let your sixth sense be alive, Yeah. You can't let your guard down. Yeah.
And if unfortunately a girl is in that situation, what's the next step that they should take? If they feel like they don't have the voice or the knowledge, what next step should be taken? Because a number of people I've talked to is some don't even know that what they're going through is abuse. Yeah. So what are the next steps you feel like should be taken?
I think for the girl, I would still say report. The first person may not hear you, the second person may not hear, but don't be silent. Speak. You will land on somebody who will amplify your voice. Yes, and you will get help. Silence is the greatest fuel for abuse. Abuse thrive on secrecy and silence. So don't be silent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're in the community, of course. You're part of the community. How have they contributed to the growth? Are you understanding each other? There's a bit of disagreement because you're handling very sensitive girls. Yes.
We have to operate with a lot of discretion.
Yes.
A lot of discretion because of, the reaction from people. You're exposing us, you're embarrassing us, this should have been a family matter, we can settle it. So people feel like you're overstepping. They feel like you are intruding into their family. You are lifting a cover that should not be lifted. So there is a lot of hostility. If you don't operate with some form of confidentiality, it can be risky for the caregivers.
But the area that you're currently in, have they been understanding to the work that you're doing and your girls?
Especially the key players, yes, they have been very understanding.
Okay, now let's talk a bit about Hilda. Who are you? What do you do on your free time? What motivates you? And you're in a very sensitive field, of course. So how do you ensure that all this does not overpower you?
Hilda is a wife and a mother of 4, 3 boys and 1 girl. And and I love to. What really motivates me, I love. There is some resilience in the human spirit is very resilient, and I just love the way. When given the right environment and atmosphere, we just have a way of springing back. It's so beautiful. It's very inspiring to see these girls, spring up. Like eventually they don't look like what they have gone through. When you tell their story, they have nothing to show for their story. Yeah, for me that is very motivating. That our human spirit can heal. People can spring back to life. People can walk out of their trauma as if they never went through them. Yeah.
Yes. And how do you ensure that the heaviness that you carry for all these girls, because you hear all these stories and they come to you to ensure that you fill their cups, but how do you ensure that your own cup is filled?
I love traveling. I love spending time with my family. And because of sometimes the heaviness of what you hear, the stories and all that, I love to take it easy when I can. Yes.
Okay. And how do you ensure that also your children also understand what you do? And of course, it begins at home. Yes. So what maybe lessons do you have, or what values do you instill in them to ensure that they understand, of course, the intensity of the situation, but also they contribute to the change that we want to see?
Yes. As I've said, I have 3 boys. I have taught them kindness, to be very sensitive and understanding to the girls. One, and I mean, both of them, even the girls, just be sensitive to other people's feelings. The world is not just about you. It is important to be cautious. It's important to take into consideration how other people experience you. While it's good to feel good about yourself, but also know how other people experience you. You can't say you don't care. It's just about you. If you're fine, you're fine. Anybody else can, So that sensitivity is what I instill on my children.
Okay. And HopeCo hopes to grow, I believe. And what expansion or growth plans do you have in the near future?
We're looking I would love to have probably 2 other centers in Kenya, and if possible, spread to Uganda. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if someone would like to hold your hand in that process, maybe through funding or support, if someone would even want to offer maybe their service to the girls, how would they be able to reach you?
Yeah, they can reach us on our HopeCo website, join HopeCo, or our mobile number. Did I give it?
Yes.
0722 920 308.
Okay.
Yes.
And, you are very easily reachable through the number.
Yes, we are very reachable.
Okay. You do have a team at the shelter.
Yes.
How do you ensure that, what process do you use for vetting to ensure that they have the best interest of the vulnerable girls?
Most of them have come to us through referrals.
Okay.
So we have like a history. We have it's the people who are known to us. They have a history. They have experience. They have worked in similar organizations. Yeah. So that's how we greatly base our judgment.
Okay. And now closing off, is there anything you'd like to say to maybe someone who's in your space and they're not part of this program that you're in? Because I believe that there's a lot of lessons you're getting, but they don't have that knowledge. So what can you share with them in regards to everything that you've experienced so far in the program?
Yeah, I'll tell them, if they get to hear that there's such an opportunity, they should grab it. They should grab it. You just don't know how much you will benefit from just being in the space of like-minded people, doing the like things. I learned the way we operate safe houses. There's a lot of, silence, secrecy. Until you step out and meet other people, you realize, and in that secrecy, you can think, you're the only one. You have so unique, your challenges are so unique. But when you meet other people, you share, you realize, these things do happen. And people have overcome the same challenges that could be drowning you. Yeah, it's a wonderful space to be in. I would encourage everyone to come. If a chance presents itself, please don't let it pass. Yeah.
And what's your biggest takeaway so far in the program? What's the one thing that has stood out for you?
The understanding myself as a leader
Okay.
was big for me. And it's lesson I carry, and not just for me, understanding myself as a leader, and also how to harness the resources, to harness the skill of the people I'm working with, so that we are bringing the best of each other at every time. We are covering each other's weaknesses. Yeah. So, which is a big shift from wanting people who are like you. We think we will work best with people who are like-minded, but actually we work best with people who are different, so that we complement each other. Yes.
So different people bring different skills, different knowledge to the organization, and you're able to
blend in. Yes, and
Okay. And anything else you'd like to close off with?
Well, first to really thank Sauti Kenya for this opportunity. It's been worthwhile. It's really worthwhile. We are going back different people, and I'm so glad for the girls, because at the end of the day, it trickles back to them. Yes, So it's a big boost to the vision. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to have this conversation with you.
Thank
you. I'm looking forward to seeing the group of HopeCo.
Thank you.